So I guess since we're taking both bills, I'll try and take the 108 first.
Okay. Whatever you'd like to do, or you can wait for the other one.
Right.
Whatever you'd like to do.
Yeah, no, it's fine. So I signed up opposed to both bills. My concern with 108 is the institutional home where it places this inquiry. I don't necessarily mean to besmirch the people who run it, but just looking at the slides, I would say they presented to you the most extreme possible effects, calculated not only from the most extreme emission standard, but the most extreme possible model extrapolations. I was definitely clear on their sea level rise, which is a very recent report. They reported we're facing 9 feet of sea level rise. In fact, the report says the 90% confidence level is 1.2 to 4.2, or sorry, 1.6 to 4.2 feet. I think it's irresponsible then to present what was in that report as planning for critical infrastructure like power plants as what we are planning for overall. And you know, I really don't feel comfortable with the idea of putting a study of what the likely economic and environmental effects of a carbon pricing program would be in the hands of people of that sort. I see that RIPEC has entered commentary. I have no idea what they said. I'm not privy to it. I would think that, especially because it appears so far that we have not segregated the impacts of this between impacts on residents and impacts on businesses and industry, and where that it was someone like RIPEC or an organization that at least is placed in some equity and not simply as a stakeholder way down the line with the bureaucrats whose job it is to essentially to be the climate change bureaucrats. I think this is the wrong place to seek such an inquiry. I do recognize and I respect your remarks that both sides of the aisle from a partisan sense have looked at carbon pricing as a possibly more market-based and acceptable way to go about this. I will say again, with the context, with the indices that you called out for folks to look at, I would say that pretty much all of us on the right have talked about a fully rebated tax. So that would be the opposite. For instance, moving now a bit to 365, which is an attempt to implement that. That would be the opposite of what Eugenia asked. Eugenia asked basically that effectively all of the money be given over to, you know, environmental projects of a sort or energy projects of a sort. In fact, we already have the highest electric bills in the nation. If high electric bills, right, were going to get us to using less carbon, or to whatever extent they will, perhaps they have lowered the growth, you know, already. I mean, so it would be incorrect of me to say we have really high bills and you see it doesn't work. You can't run the counterfactual. Indeed, they may have limited. But one way they've limited them, of course, is that Toray, one of our largest employers, decided to expand in South Carolina and not in Rhode Island after fighting Deepwater Wind, for which we are going to be paying about a ½ cent premium for that single project on our bills. And while the 365 attempts to make some recognition of the expenses that are already embedded in bills for industry, business, and people, by suggesting that the RGGI market clearing should be backed out, the RGGI market clearing for Deepwater, it's not a tenth of the excess cost that we have committed to. So I would think that any inquiry should in fact look at, you know, whether we maybe spent money in ways that are unwise and we haven't gotten that much renewable, you know, money or that many jobs for the money we've spent, and any areas that those could be changed, you know, in order to bring that back to a point where it seems that a carbon pricing scheme would be rational. I certainly would like that to be, you know, in the line of inquiry. So I thank you very much for the opportunity to speak this, Madam Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brian. We do have a question for you, Brian.
Oh, sure.
Well, it might not be a question, but it would just be maybe a comment and just to whether you're aware of, you mentioned Toray, and for those of you who don't know my background in delving into these issues, even though I wasn't on the committee, I was sponsor of the Renewable Energy Standard and the net metering legislation. And Toray, as an example, took advantage of the net metering in one of the ways they leveraged their stature in Rhode Island was by building a significant solar presence on their property.
I'm absolutely aware of that, and I appreciate it, Senator Miller, and I mean, honestly, having dealt with them when we were opposing Deepwater, that was basically their second guess. And they haven't left the state, and it would be totally improper for me to stand here and tell you, well, they're going to buy. I mean, nobody knows. But we have the most expensive electricity, so the key ours to when Massachusetts and Connecticut have electricity about as expensive as ours. So saying that we're all going to get a little partnership with them does not really look in that larger picture at where our competitiveness will be. So I don't want to undermine the motives of those who think we're headed to the worst case scenarios here and action must be taken, but I really think that any inquiry into how to price carbon should understand whether we've made some inefficient investments in carbon already, in reducing carbon, the extent to which we can back out of those, and I appreciate your point.
My point is that we took risks several years ago in creating a renewable energy standard, incentivizing renewables through net metering and other avenues. Things have gotten worse rather than better. The only thing that have made things better is the incentives we put on renewables. And if we don't ramp those up, and these are not aggressive and outrageous ideas. They were considered pretty aggressive when we did renewable energy incentives. These are not aggressive. These are not outlandish, especially when states are on their own rather than being partnered with the federal government. And so, there are many people we partnered with and we took risks. Jerry Elmer, we worked relentlessly on many efforts to support renewable energy standard. Eugenia, the room is full of people that have worked hard and know that we're not outliers on this issue, and neither is this legislation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The next witness is Doug